Hey everybody, it's Amy with Barbecue Spot. I'm sitting here with Tuffy Stone, Cool Smoke. We're at the beautiful American Royal World Series of Barbecue 2019. Welcome, Tuffy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amy.
It's awful good to see you. You've been traveling, man. You've been all over the place lately.
You know, lately I think I've been on like a 3-4 week run. So I've been home like 3 days in the last 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, I heard a rumor you were over in Europe somewhere promoting.
I did. I went to Sweden and taught 2 classes in Sweden. Spent some time in Denmark. Went to Spoga to the show in Germany, which is interesting to me because the world's largest outdoor grilling and barbecue trade show is in Germany. That surprised me.
That is surprising. So curious, when you go over there, are they having their own style of barbecue or are they wanting American barbecue?
So everybody that brings me out of the country usually just wants to know my thoughts and theories and philosophies. This class was very unlike most of my classes. Usually when I go out of the country, I'm teaching exactly what I do on the competition circuit because there's a high level of interest in competitive barbecue. All the countries that I've been traveling to, they're very, very interested in American style barbecue, not only competition, but, you know, backyard barbecue. And so what I taught in Sweden, a group of about 50 each day, I did 20 recipes out of my cookbook. And we started at breakfast and we ended at dinner.
Excellent. So you're a little different than most pitmasters.
What's my size?
Yeah, your size. So I hear this is because you're a runner.
I was also cross country.
You run off all the, but you still run?
No, I don't. You know, I've always been like slender in build. My knees gave out after too many years of running, so I'm more of a cyclist now.
I think you just got your body so finely tuned that you could quit running and it just keeps shutting off the barbecue anyway.
That's it. You know, they say no, a double XL in barbecue is a barbecue medium. So we were talking about this last night. I'm probably like a barbecue extra small.
Okay, awesome. But before you got into barbecue, though, you were a culinary expert. You were a chef.
Yeah,
You're still a chef,
yeah,
but I mean, you've been able to integrate the two worlds. Talk about how that makes you a little different.
You know, there's not a whole lot of, you know, Adam Perry Lang has got a very similar background to mine, although, you know, there's a few of us that came from that culinary world into barbecue. I started off in 1986 apprenticing under a French chef, and initially I got my foot in the door working for free. And I worked my way up to his partner and sous chef. Then he ended up, Chef Alon worked for me for 10 years, and he lives down the street now.
You had to start working for free?
To get my foot in the door.
You volunteered labor to get in there.
Absolutely.
How many people would do that today, do you think? We seem to have a generation that thinks everybody's underpaid, nobody's willing to put the time in. I mean, this is a good testament to pay your dues, learn from the best.
You know, it used to be much more common. I haven't had anybody come to our kitchen. We've had some externs and things like that, but that's usually part of their school program.
Okay.
You know, I interviewed with him, and the kitchen was immaculate. He had an incredible resume. He said he'd call me. I got the impression that he wasn't going to call. I went home and I stewed on it all night, and I figured out that if I wanted to get in that kitchen, that was going to be my strategy. And you know, it actually, because I never really thought of cooking as a career. I thought of cooking as a domestic skill set while I was going to college.
Okay.
And then when he made me a partner in the restaurant, that kind of like took me into the food world as a professional.
That would tend to do that.
Yeah.
But now before restaurants, you were in the Army.
No.
No, not the Army. I apologize. You're in the military.
I'm in the
cut that. We're going to start it over. Before
Marine Corps.
Before you got into the restaurant business, you were in the Marine Corps.
I was. I did 4 years as a jarhead. They say once a Marine, always a Marine. I was graduated high school and all-state cross country. I was supposed to go to a college for a partial running scholarship, but I was young and youthful, and I like to have fun, and I just had this sense that I probably needed a little discipline. So much to my dad's surprise and my mom's surprise, I went and I tested for the Marine Corps, and I could get any job that I wanted. So I elected to work on F-18 radars, and I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years. In 1986, that spring of 1986, I was on the USS Coral Sea, where we bombed Libya, and I was never your typical jarhead in some respects. So I would get to these countries, and I had I've always liked photography. I would take my camera and my backpack and my Sony Walkman, so that dates me a little bit there. That was cassettes.
We're the same generation. You're cool. You're good.
But I would hop off to Italy or Israel Turkey or wherever I was and meet the people and eat the food and take pictures. And but you know, Libya was that was an interesting thing because you know a bunch of us on the ship we just man we're gonna see our parents again, so it was a little bit of that. But anyways, Marine Corps was very good for me. I think it helps me in my cooking world and it helps me in competition world and just gave me discipline and the ability to kind of work through anything.
Yeah. So it's interesting because you seem like different phases of your life you've gone through. You've known what you wanted to do or what you needed to do to get there. You knew you needed discipline, so you went into the military. You knew you wanted to work at this restaurant, so you offered your services for free. You're very determined when you decide you need something.
I think I'm very determined. There have been periods before where I was kind of like didn't know what direction to go, and it bothered me. And I remember one time, you know, kind of being stressed, not knowing what the next path. It was actually after I got out of the Marine Corps, I was going to college, and I kind of came up with a simple philosophy. I just made this decision that if I did my best, I'd go in an upward direction. And if I went in an upward direction, even if I didn't know where I was going in an upward direction is a pretty good place to be going. And that just brought me comfort there. And so that's kind of like been a lifestyle philosophy for me all my life, is just trying to do my best.
What a great mantra. I love that.
It's simple, you know?
I love that.
I say that to young people all the time.
We're going to start Tuffyisms and make a book of all these little motivational Tuffy
Oh, I got so many. Emily Detweiler, the new CEO of the KCBS, she calls them Tuffyisms too. And
does she? Well, see, I knew I liked Emily when I met her.
You know, I think she graduated graduate school in Mizzou.
Oh, did she? Another Tiger?
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, Emily and I are going to bond.
I know, right?
I already know that. So, we're here at the American Royal. Now, help me out. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago you were inducted into the Barbecue Hall of Fame.
Last year, 2018, I was inducted in the Barbecue
you were
Hall of Fame.
inducted, and along with you,
along with me, the Charlie from the Rendezvous, who's passed, and Tootsie from Snow's Barbecue, and she was here this weekend. I love her so much. You know, I mean, she's been a pitmaster. She's 84, 85 years old.
Wow.
And so I have such deep respect for her. I love her so much, and so very humbling to be inducted in the Hall of Fame with the people that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. So many of my mentors and people that I look up to and friends, and to be up there with Tootsie was really special.
Yeah. Well, the barbecue family is something really special.
Absolutely.
People who haven't been in here and really experienced this don't understand. But last night we had the invitational competition awards, and you had 100 and.
I think I think the count ended up being like 145 or something like that.
Okay, so a select group of the huge barbecue contest is the invitational. People who've won grand championships elsewhere, so it's the best of the best competing against each other. Everybody wants to win that trophy, and yet everybody is so excited for everybody else's name who got called. Everybody's standing up, cheering, high-fiving them, and you would have thought it was your own brother or your kid or somebody that won. The camaraderie and the love in the barbecue community is just astounding to me.
Well, I think your relationship to barbecue through the things that you volunteer for and with Old World Spices, and the relationships that you have with so many, you make so many of the pitmasters and cooks products, and through all the things that you do, you know as well as I do. I mean, we're deeply connected in the barbecue community, and it just for both of us, it's made this world so much smaller. And you have friends all over the world. Really, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And I love what some of the barbecue communities and volunteer groups are starting to do for the military now. It's really impressive to me, too. Operation Barbecue Relief has started doing what they call it, Barbecue Basics. I always want to say Barbecue Boot Camp, but I think that name was taken. Barbecue Basics, where they're going out and training our military veterans in active duty to barbecue. Have you heard about that?
I have. Some of the greatest experiences that I've had in 2010, I was able to go over with Johnny Trigg and Myron Vixen and Jamie Gear and Nicole Davenport and John Marcus, and we went over and cooked for the troops in Kuwait and cooked.
Oh, what an awesome!
Oh, it was
That's
amazing.
Wonderful.
I think when it was all said and done, we fed about 4,000 or 5,000 troops, and that was pretty special. And then recently, Stretch
from Grinders.
from Grinders and Jeff from Chicken and Grinning. We just cooked at 2 bases on the East Coast, and so and being a jarhead, I can relate to being homesick and missing my mom, my dad, my family, and so when you can bring barbecue to a bunch of men and women that are keeping us safe at night, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know we've got a lot of veteran teams too. It was neat. They did a little call out last night, and Kim Palmer had all the veterans stand up and get around. I saw you stand. You're right there in the front. I saw you. It was neat to see how many veterans we have in the barbecue community, and it's another thing that pulls us all together, I think. So thank you for your service, and thank you for what you continue to do to support our country and our military. That's wonderful. What's next?
Wow. I'm going to Brazil in November. I've got the Jack coming up. We were fortunate enough to win Memphis May this year, and so that was a qualifier.
That's been a good year for you.
You know, we've only cooked. This is our 3rd contest, so we cooked Memphis May in DC, and now the American Royal Open, and we got the Jack. And I'm going to go teach in Brazil, so that's coming up. I've got a lot of travel. I'm teaching a class to a bunch of food service corporate chefs coming up this month.
We've got a new restaurant. I was going to say, you're going to get back into the restaurant business, I hear.
That's right. So we're going to close on a new restaurant probably in October.
Okay.
And then I have another one. So that one.
Barbecue theme, something new. What are you going to do?
So the new one may or may not have barbecue, but it won't start with it. And then I've got another project. It was my cooking school forever, and it's a building that I own right beside my catering company. And so we had it as a cook school for probably 5 years. And I've decided to turn that into a restaurant and a market. And so we're going into a hushed tone now because it's secret. Okay. You're finding out before Richmond food writers find out. But anyways, it's probably going to be a wood-burning grill and a wood-burning oven. And may or may not have a barbecue pit in the back, and I'm excited about it. So,
that's awesome.
You know, I'm sure.
And we're all invited to the grand opening.
That's it. Y'all come on, Richmond, Virginia. I'll let Amy know when. But you know, it's like I got to tour your business 2 days ago, which was amazing to me. It's like the innovation that's happening with your business and the dedication to just so many processes, like. The procedures on when an ingredient gets added to the mix, and and I think what I walked away from with that experience was a couple things. One was a deep being able to relate to y'all in your approach.
We're not just in the kitchen mixing spices. We got good food safety standards. We got all our people well trained. We got shiny equipment whirling all over the place. It's kind of fun. I'm a gearhead. I mean, I love to see all the equipment working.
Well, you know, it's like one of my old staff who I love so much and have so much respect for him. We were working on something one day, and I asked him. I was asking him a question, and he wasn't applying his thinking to it. And I said, I'm not going to call him by name, but I asked him. I said, "Is it great?" And he stopped and he thought about it. And he goes, "No, Tuffy, it's not great." And I said, "If it's not great, it sucks."